Atlas progression is one of the most important goals at the start of every Path of Exile League. In PoE 3.29 All-Flame, players can now progress their Atlas while earning valuable currency through searing Exarch Red Altars. This guide covers the fastest Atlas progression route, including map completion, Kirak usage, Voidstone order, Atlas tree pathing, and early currency strategies. The Atlas of Worlds is Path of Exile's endgame map system. The Atlas is a series of linked maps that players can progress through after completing a quest for Officer Kirak. It is explored and discovered by running maps within the map device at a player's hideout. The Atlas of Worlds is a visualization of the dream worlds that are opened by activating maps, indicating how these worlds are linked. The player starts at one of 4 starting maps in the center of the Atlas. These Tier 1 maps start dropping on Act 8. Players can find new maps in adjacent, connected maps in the Atlas. The Atlas comprises more than 150 different maps. Maps have a chance to drop in other connected maps, and they can be traded between players. The Atlas has 8 regions, each of which have many maps within them. Each region has a citadel, which is an interface that allows socketing 4 watchstones within it. These watchstones can have various crafted modifiers that players can add onto them using sextants. Quest watchstones drop from defeating the conquerors, while craftable watchstones can be purchased from other players or obtained as boss drops. Each region also allows players to select unique Atlas passive skill perks that affect drops and environmental effects within that region, such as improving blight, harvest, delirium, or other types of content. Every map has 1 or more unique bosses. The Atlas has 2 bonuses which affect map drops, being the Atlas completion bonus and the Awakening completion bonus. These bonuses must be earned by defeating the map boss under certain conditions. The Atlas has many endgame bosses that players can fight, such as Sarus, Awakener of Worlds, which can only be encountered by chasing the conquerors across the Atlas, and the Maven, which requires completion of the Maven's challenges in the Maven's Crucible. Other bosses like the Shaper, the Elder, and Uber Elder can be fought repeatedly simply by using a special set of 4 map fragments in the map device. Map drops are not completely random. Instead, a specific tier is chosen first, and the map type is chosen from a pool of maps completed for that tier or connected to the map the character is currently in. 1. Only connected maps and maps previously completed can drop from a map area. In addition to these rules, this map drop pool only consists of maps that are currently visible on the Atlas, meaning maps that are removed from changing watchstones are removed from the drop pool. There are a couple exceptions. During Zana's missions, where you can obtain maps without restrictions from your Atlas progression, unique maps which can also drop their base type, and various league content that may drop maps. Following this, when a map drops tier is rolled and no maps of that tier currently exist on the Atlas, a map isn't dropped, but instead adds to a map equity system that helps higher tier maps to drop for each map completed under certain conditions. You gain an Atlas completion bonus. Each bonus adds a 1% chance for a map to drop 1 tier higher, with each 100% chance automatically upgrading the tier of the dropped map. The maximum map tier, however, cannot bypass drop restrictions, even if it would have been upgraded. Awakened Atlas completion bonuses are acquired by completing the map at a certain Awakening level or higher. In order to complete an Awakening bonus objective, it is merely required to finish the map at its maximum tier while it is influenced by 4 watchstones, while the Awakening level requirement is met. Rarity or corruption of the map is irrelevant. Once you've completed all base maps in a region, you unlock a favorite map slot for that region. Map bases you marked as favorites are 10 times more likely to drop than other map bases in the region. A second and third slot can be unlocked by completing all Atlas objectives and Awakened Atlas objectives, respectively. The same map can be favorite multiple times, making it 20 or 30 times more likely to drop than other map bases in the region. Once per day, when you log in, you will receive 1 Atlas missions for each master for the tier relative to the last map you've completed, 1/+1 range. Free Atlas missions refresh at midnight UTC. The map must be completed the day before in their own map device. Completing party play maps from other players' map devices does not count. Completing blighted maps do count. Each time you complete a map, there is a 35% chance to receive an Atlas mission for a random master. You can use Atlas missions to guarantee a master to spawn in your next non-unique map. Your Atlas mission counters are tracked for each set of map tier colors: white, yellow, and red. Which one you receive is the same as the tier color of the map you received it in. Your accumulated number of Atlas missions can be seen in the Atlas layout screen. There is no limit to how many Atlas missions you can store. You can redeem an Atlas mission by speaking to a master, then running the map from that screen, or via the mission buttons in the map device interface. Note that as only a single master can appear per map, the use of a master mission will prevent triggering other sources of master spawning, including the flat 10% chance of triggering a random master per map. It is possible to get a slight increase in chance of encountering a specific master by avoiding Atlas missions for the other masters. When exploring a map, there is a chance that one of the conquerors of the Atlas, Alhesman, the Hunter, Veritania, the Redeemer, Drox, the Warlord, and Baron, the Crusader, appears and spreads influence over the Atlas region. Whenever a conqueror appears in a map, they will occupy the Atlas region and add packs of special influenced monsters to the map whenever they appear. After their third appearance, you can speak to Officer Kirak to locate their citadel, then talk to Zana to open a map device screen with a map where the conqueror's citadel is located. This map can be modified and can have map fragment and scarab bonuses applied to it, but only 20% of the map's item quantity bonus will apply to the conqueror boss. Once you defeat the citadel's map boss, a portal leading to the conqueror's arena opens up, where you can fight the conqueror themselves. Each conqueror will drop a watchstone on defeat, which you can slot in a citadel to upgrade all maps within the region to higher tiers and possibly reveal new ones. Influenced monsters and the conquerors have a chance to drop influenced items, special item bases which can roll mods unavailable to regular items. To spawn a conqueror for the first time, you must first explore maps in the outer Atlas regions: Haywork Hamlet, Lexajoris, Lyra Arthane, New Vaster. Once they make their appearance, they will reappear whenever you run a new map located within the same region. Opening a new map with the same base as the last one is allowed. After they drop their first watchstone, to get the next watchstone, you will need to explore maps in regions with the required number of watchstones. The map's tier must also be equal or greater than the base displayed on the Atlas. Before defeating the Awakener, a conqueror will always appear in each new map as long as the requirements are filled, but they will not reappear in the same region. Hovering over the watchstone slots on the left side of the Atlas screen will display the requirements needed to spawn a conqueror. You can fight Cyrus, Awakener of Worlds. Once the 4 conquerors are defeated, speak to Zana to open 6 portal to Cyrus. After you defeat Cyrus or lose all portals against him, you must defeat the conquerors again in order to re-fight Cyrus. After defeating Cyrus for the first time, you can spawn a conqueror in any region with 4 watchstones. You can spawn the same conqueror in regions you've already acquired a watchstone from, but you will need to run more than 3 maps to be able to fight them again. There is a 50% chance for a conqueror to appear for the first time. Afterwards, the conqueror will reappear after running a specified number of maps in the influenced region. A bar on the left side of the Atlas screen shows how many steps are required to spawn a conqueror. The blue square shows when the conqueror will appear and spawn influenced monsters. Defeating Cyrus is not required to acquire more watchstones. Since the Atlas shuffled every time at the start of New League and Big Patch, currently each time the game released the 3.x.0 patch. Using a T16 map, Natural Tier 16 map, from the Legacy Map series will unlock the completion of T115 maps. If it is a rare Corrupted Legacy map, it will also unlock all bonus objective of the T115 map. If the Atlas is socketed with 8 sets of watchstones, Awakening level 8, when completing the Legacy map. The main problem with the endgame is the lack of a clear progression system in the Atlas. And I'm not talking about bosses or quest lines, but something more mid-term to complete, that is not your immediate goal, but is always in the background as you progress through the endgame. In PoE 1, the main progression system was the Atlas completion, maps bonus objectives. You complete a specific map, receive an Atlas point, and slowly progress through your Atlas while doing other things, like quest lines and fighting bosses. In Delve, You have the depth level and the azurite system to buy upgrades, where both are related to each other, so you can progress through higher depth levels to encounter new places and enemies. In Poe 2, you just have some short-term objectives, like farming splinters and fragments to fight bosses. Citadels take a bit longer, but they don't even work correctly in many cases. For a lot of players, they just don't appear on the Atlas, and that's again like a quest line to fight a boss. The game needs something that you can complete over time and progress the world in some way. Of course, not having challenge rewards is another big reason for the lack of direction. Eventually, it'll be added to the game, and things will get much better, but challenges should complement the game and not be the only mid/long-term goals. Another important aspect related to the lack of direction is the visual progression, not of your character, but the content itself. When I open the Atlas in Poe 1, I can clearly see the empty slots and the maps that I have already completed. When I open my Delve chart, I can see my current location and the area that I explored, and if I want to progress, I can clearly see that I need to go down. Having this type of visual representation of your progression through the world is an important aspect to make you feel engaged or show that you have a direction to follow, or just to feel fulfilled about the progress you've made so far. In Poe 2, we don't have a 2D/interface representation of our progress on the Atlas, so it's already the first difference to the first game. I think we need some sort of progression map separate from the 3D world itself. Not necessarily an accurate representation of the world space, but something related to the content or completion of the world. But the 3D world is also another problem, because there's an overload of information and things happening on every direction, while at the same time nothing feeling important.